Sheridan wide open, things were pretty nice, pretty nice. I looked at the sun was coming up and coming down. I had some frost in my beard from sleeping on the ground. It was cold, it was cold, it was cold as ice. But I looked at the sun, I said it's gonna be real nice. Till I checked out the weather, and what did I find? I found the wind was gonna blow, but blow my mind. 40 mile, 50 mile, 100 mile an hour. We're gonna get you some, gonna tip you right over. Oh.
Everybody, oh man, today I'm just gonna bring you along. This is impromptu, really getting thrown into a tough situation, and I want to bring you along for it. I hope that it's overhyped and it's not near what it's supposed to be. I hope it does not come to fruition, but it's going to require some serious fancy footwork and a few tricks of the trade. So why not bring you all along on this little adventure? What we're doing, I got to be up in Valier, Montana at 5 p.m. today to load cattle to take down to Logan, Utah. That's easy, that's no problem. The catch to it is that today it's supposed to warm up into the mid 40s, which in Montana always means severe winds. Right now, the National Weather Service going up to Valier is calling for 35 to 50 mile an hour wind, 60 mile an hour gusts. As we get closer to the destination where we're loading at, it kicks up to 45 to 55 with 80 mile an hour gusts, up to 100 mile an hour gusts in select areas of the Front Range. That will tip you right over. Now, we've talked about this on the podcast back in the day a little bit, about some things you can do, and I'm going to employ all of the tricks. Thus far, the one little bright spot to this is that the wind was supposed to start at 5 a.m. I just talked to Old Man Rooster up at the ranch. He said there's nothing there yet. Checked a few little cameras that keep track of the wind, and it's just kicking up to about 20 miles an hour, which is nothing, right? Not even anything to worry about. However, I am 3 hours from being up into the wind zone, so a lot can change in 3 hours. I'm not doing this to overhype and be like, we're all gonna blow over. That's not the idea. I hope that it's nothing. I hope we get up there and it's like, hey, that was all overkill, everything's fine. I just don't know for sure. So a couple things we're gonna do. I'm gonna get my cross gates open. I'll explain that when shut, I should say rather. I'll explain that when I get to that. I'm gonna put a bunch of water in my trailer. And lastly, we're gonna keep our back axle down when we get up into the wind zone on this quad. I don't know myself, but some of the guys really swear by that back axle being down, just giving a little more tail end stability to these trailers when they're in a severe wind. Okay guys, so inside these trailers, right, these are the cross gates, and these cross gates are used for keeping compartments separate, but when they are pinned against the wall, they act as kind of a wind catcher there, right? So they say put these across, it'll help wind push through and not hang up like a sail. So we'll do that down below. Shut that. That'll also work as a baffle for me here. You'll see in a minute. This is the cardboard box that I've shoved in the crack beneath this gate. I can still lose water here and here. If you haven't figured out what I'm doing yet, we're filling up with water. Now, if I eliminate this crack in the floor here, and I can stuff some plastic up here in the sides or some cardboard, we can put 12 inches of water in here, see? I've already got about 2,000 pounds of manure in here. So by getting the water in here, it's gonna add, let's say 1,000, 2,000 pounds. And that's really gonna help hold us down. These are the tricks that I know. This is all we're doing. This is the most extreme, if everything holds true, it's the most extreme that I've been into. Why am I going up? One, these cattle are ready to be slaughtered. They've been on the schedule for 3 weeks. If they don't get delivered, then they're gonna fall out of rotation and they won't make it in time for 2024. It's really important for the producer that they get marketed in 2024. Of course, if we can't get up there, we can't get up there. But I have some backup plans. If what I'm doing now is not enough and I still get in a sketchy spot, I will stop. At which point I think I will have them bring down a stock trailer load of cattle, jump them through these side doors into my belly, which would be about 7,000 or 8,000 pounds, 9,000 pounds of cattle, that would certainly hold the trailer down. Got a lot of things up my sleeve, a lot of things. Let's, I'll keep you posted, and you might learn a trick or two. Okay, here's what I got. I'm gonna have to get out of here soon because I'm gonna run out of dry land. Pour off a piece and jammed in the side here. It's pretty tight in there. Should swell up when it gets wet, hopefully. I don't know if it's gonna actually swell, but should keep it enough from pouring water out. Got 2 plastic bags and shoved down in this corner. And it should allow us to get some water up to about here. I'll go on the outside and show you what that means, and then we'll do some math together and try to figure out how much weight we're putting in this thing. So kind of the main catch is we're going to be leaking. The idea is you just hope that you're leaking at a slow enough rate that you can maintain some weight to get where you're going, right? Let me show you a couple spots here. Let's look under the trailer. See some drippage already. There's a pretty steady little something there, and that may get worse, that may quit. These are just these traps in the floor, right? They're not watertight. I mean, look here. That one's completely covered over. Yet somehow it's sneaking through there and dripping out the bottom, right? I got that one in the corner completely buried and half frozen. But as it thaws, the water sloshing back and forth is gonna get rid of that. This other Cooney truck pulled in here and he's like, "Oh, you getting water too?" And I was like, yeah, just gonna try not to get tipped over. And he's like, "Oh, I was getting water just to clean out my trailer." I said, "Have you checked the wind?" He's like, "Well, kinda. What's up?" I was like, yeah. He's going to a place that he's going to be facing a headwind most of the time, so he's not in much danger. I'm disappointed this is leaking so much. The funny thing is that's a trap that doesn't really leak typically. I don't think there's anything I can do about it. I mean, that's probably going to maybe leak like 5 gallons an hour. I mean, just a drip like that. But I don't want any of it to leak because I'm probably 5 hours from where I'm at right now. I need this water to hang in for about 5 hours. Front traps aren't leaking. That's a good thing up in the front. I have a trap in each corner up there, and neither of them are dripping. Just that center one. You guys, this is so weird. I put water in my trailer so many times in that center one. I don't even remove that trap. It just stays down always. I don't even ever pull it out. I've never pulled it out. And of course, the one day I don't want it to leak, it's leaking. Little bugger. All right, we're just about done. I'm gonna let it fill a little more. Still seeping, starting to come out of the cardboard there just a little bit too. Again, I bet over the course of the next, hours, maybe we're gonna lose 20 gallons of water out of those little seepages, weepages. It's an acceptable loss. This garden hose is gonna be running for about 30 minutes by the time I shut it off. I'm gonna give it 8 more minutes. That'll make it 30 minutes in total. Google, for whatever that's worth, says that a garden hose gallons per minute is 8 to 17, I think. This hose is on some kind of turbo line. I mean, it blasts. Like if you let go of it, it's going to be whipping around everywhere. So I'm going to put it up to 20 gallons a minute, which might still be on the light end. So at 20 gallons per minute for 30 minutes, we get our 600. Times that by 8 pounds a gallon, roughly. It's going to give us 6 times 8. 4,800 pounds of water on top of our couple thousand pounds of manure that was already in there from my last trip. I'm going to say, roughly 6,000, 7,000 ballpark figure pounds in the very, very bottom of this trailer, clear down low. If you're wondering what my gross weight is, for those of you trucking wise, my empty weight with that manure in there should be around, let's say 39. And then we add this weight to it. Between 45,000 pounds would be my empty weight. So pretty decent amount of weight considering that I'm empty. I don't know. Now you'll see we're getting some pretty good water in there. The thing about this is I would fill it right up to those bottom air holes, but as you go back and forth, side to side, you will blow a ton of water out of there. So I can't do that. However, in opening this gate and putting it across there, I'm hoping that'll act as a baffle as I get, as you hit the brakes or hit the gas and send a little tidal wave forwards or backwards, it'll hit that gate, and that might act as somewhat of a baffle to kind of take some of that violent sloshing out of the deal. If you're a motorist and you're worried about this, let me tell you, I put sawdust in on this load. The cattle were dry, so it's mostly sawdust with a little bit of manure. In terms of, a couple thousand pounds still sounds like a ton of manure to the average person. In terms of a cattle trailer, it's not that much, especially when you see it all shoveled in one spot. It's maybe like 2 skid steer buckets full of manure, maybe. Anyway, when mixed with this amount of water, it dilutes it extremely watery. So if you're going by me down the highway and you get a little splish splash, I was taking a bath, don't worry, it's mostly water. Look in there and you're thinking, oh yeah, poo water, right? Well, look here, yeah, it looks pretty clean still, right? It looks pretty pure. Well, maybe the cardboard's filtering it a little bit, but... Okay, hose is put away, drained. I just gotta remember to drain that hose before you put it away, or you'll pull it out one day to put water in your trailer and it'll have a little ice in it somewhere. So now we just drive nice and easy. Go on our way, y'all. I'm gonna keep you posted. Let's cross our fingers that things are quiet. I hope this ends up being the biggest dud video ever. And you're like, wow, no wind, no craziness, no tipped over trucks, no insurance claims. Just a boring YouTube video. I would be okay with that today. Well, we're not to the gap yet, but I had to give you this little update. There's enough weight in here. I'm just pulling up out of Billings. Like, I can feel it. Like, my truck doesn't feel like a typical empty truck. 7-ish thousand pounds of whatever's back there. It's like having a half a belly full of cattle, which when I have a half belly full of cattle, I can feel it. And I feel this. So that's good. Normally I would not like that because I'm going to get poor mileage, because I'm dragging weight, right? But this is weight I'm happy to have. So in Montana, they have an app and they have weather cameras everywhere, and every camera is equipped with a wind speed. There are 2 weather stations, okay? One is south of where I'm loading, one is north of where I'm loading. I'm kind of loading in between those 2 areas. So I just checked them. The southern station is showing 35 mile an hour sustained wind with 50 mile an hour gusts right now. The northern station up above it is showing 50 mile an hour sustained wind with 70 mile an hour gusts currently. That's live. It updates every 20 minutes or whatever. So right now up there, it's somewhere in between the 2, right? Take that for what it's worth. Those are my only 2 ways I can really judge once I get up there. The northernmost one it's up, that's Browning, Montana, just outside of Glacier Park to the east. It is a raging, crazing, blazing. I mean, no doubt they'll get 100 mile an hour gusts there today. Which is hard to imagine. Those of you that are like in hurricane land and stuff, you know what that wind feels like. But when most people are out in the wind and they're like, wow, the wind is just hammering, that's usually about a 35 mile an hour wind. What you think is 50 is usually 35. 50 is like, it's hard to stand and be out here. Anything above that is just all insanity. So, update on the leakage situation. I think the sloshing is thawing it out and causing a lot more of the fines to be moving. And I think the fines have plugged the holes. I just had to go through a roundabout. I'm driving so easy, trying not to tidal wave product. I did have some traffic behind me, so I pulled over to let them all go by. I was parked for 15-20 seconds letting people by, and when I pulled away there was nothing going on, no visible signs through my mirrors anyway of any water, a little water on the ground. So I think we're gonna hang on to what we got, at least for now. That could change. All right, y'all, I'm at the south end of the gap here. This is Harlowtown, Montana. Go up that highway over there and you go over the gap. I want to run over this scale here and see if we can decide how much water we've got in. I would love to know that. Oh yeah, of course. Surprise, surprise. Yep, scale's not registering. That is so maddening. They put in these jump scales where they actually put a scale in the ground, right? It's just a place where a DOT can pull in here, plug into the deal, turn it on, and weigh trucks, out of the comfort of his pickup instead of an actual building. And for some reason, half the time they shut them off to where they won't read, which doesn't help anybody. Like, the scale's here, it's paid for, it's in the ground. Trucks are gonna drive on it thinking it's working. You might as well just leave the reader on so that we can see. It just helps everybody. I wanna go see how our water's looking, see if we're dripping, ripping, see if I had a trap come open and if it's even in there, if there's any water left. Slosh. If you look close at that, you can see it's a lot of wood chips. Wood chips and icy poo water. So when I brake, it comes forward, wham, splashes out the sides a little. Looks like we're getting a tiny bit of drippage. I'm gonna say virtually nothing out of that one, which is great. You can tell looking in there, our gate's washed a little bit on that bottom. So the water has been hitting on it. Looks like this iced up a little. No more, well, yeah, it's underwater. No more drippage. It's that center one. Hey, look at that one's almost quit. Ha, just a drip. Oh, look, it's working now. I've been sitting on here all this time, and now the scale's reading. Well, that's good. And the scale is froze up. I've seen it on this one before where it's not working. I might take it back. Maybe those scoundrels did leave it on 15.4 on my drive axles. I'll get right back to it. It's back to not reading, but I'm going to give it a minute here. So this could be, while I'm waiting, this could be just a whiff. I don't know. I mean, I know they want to always err on the side of crazy winds and, you know, death storms and get everybody worked up, but I don't know. The wind here should be raging. Very wind-prone area through Harlow Town here. Down south, if you've been through Montana, is Big Timber. West of there is Livingston, which is a huge wind tunnel. So I don't know. Maybe I should check my little weather stations up there and see what they're reading, and I'll let you know. Okay, got the magic number, and it is 6,000 pounds. I got 6,000 pounds of added weight in my trailer from what my typical empty weight is. I'm at 42,700 pounds. Anyway, that's good. That's good weight. Now, in terms of where we're headed, the north weather station, 50 mile an hour gusts, so still pretty strong up there. What did I say? 35, 40 sustained. And then the south station, this was the surprise, the south station, 25 mile an hour gusts, which is weird. I don't know if there's just a little lull or if it's just not quite as severe up there. 20 miles in front of me, and this is weird because you just heard how dead calm it was. 40 mile an hour gusts just right up the road here. So at some point we're just gonna get blasted in the side. And then we're gonna go up about 40 miles north, and we're gonna turn and go northwest. And the weather stations along that route say that there's a wind gusting 50, which is pretty strong, but that's gonna be mostly a headwind, so not a huge deal. But hey, with this weight in my belly, I'm confident that I could drive through 80 mile an hour. I'm confident I could hit 80 mile an hour wind and be okay. I would still be, you know, driving on the left side of the road, leaning into the wind, using all the tricks that I know to get that weight. Especially, that's the nice thing about liquid weight. If you can get over into that other lane, it tilts you. And with that liquid, that's the beauty of it. It sloshes over against that left side of the trailer and puts a little more weight into that wind. So I'm totally confident that we are not. This is not a "we almost blew over" video yet, but I don't think it's going to be. I think we're gonna be okay. I see the windmills. We drive through a little wind farm here, and they're turning, so it must not be blowing that hard. They always shut off up here. I see a few of them shut off, but most of them are spinning. All right, well, at least the winds arrived. finally arrived. You know, I feel like this ain't all for nothing. It's kind of coming this way. Not a broadside, not a headwind. It's kind of this mix. It's kind of a southwest blast, which is rare. That last stretch of road I was on, it's usually a straight west wind. But now that I've turned the corner and I'm heading west, I'm feeling, as you can see, the dust. I don't know if the camera's picking it up very well, but yeah, a lot of dust blowing. We're doing about 50, 55 here, looks like, probably just because of the force on the truck. So Yep. Here it is. We're still good. Like, again, I'm not like worried, but yeah. Let me show you a first tip to driving here in the wind. It's pushing pretty good. I'm not in danger of a blowover by any means, but just get left to center here. Of course, when traffic comes, you got to move over. There's a car up there a mile down the road. We're going to move back. But if you just get left to center, these roads, they crown, right? They crown each way. The highest point of the road's right down the center line. So if you can hang your truck over the lines, you'll feel it when you're driving. The whole truck just settles down onto that other crown. And it's not a lot, you guys, but it makes a huge difference in the way that you feel. Then the next step after that, if things get super extreme, would be that we would take it a step further over to the ditch over there, which I've done before. I've dive bombed the ditch in Montana where the crown wasn't doing it. It was pushing harder yet, so I went and you put two wheels in the grass over there and really tilted into the wind. You know, I'm catching my breath here for a minute. It's all come, all that bluster about the wind, and they missed. Nope. It's all here, just not in all the places they said it would be, but it is definitely here. I just finished a segment of highway that was straight broadside, a western direction, getting hit diagonally by the southwest wind. However, the road in this one spot turns completely. And as you're driving by the airport, the sock is just straight punching you in the ribs, right? Totally perpendicular. And there's a hopper trailer, an empty hopper coming at me. And I mean, his trailer was a full set of duals over the line. His truck's clear over in his lane and his trailer is clear across. I don't think you can tip over a grain trailer in the wind. I think it would just continue to kick out. I don't think they're heavy enough to actually pull the truck over. But, I mean, that just to illustrate what that was looking like. I mean, I had to move over my shoulder so his grain trailer wouldn't hit me. Oh, and these van trailers just clear out same way. Not quite as extreme as that little hopper, but I'm just coming down the hill here into Geyser, Montana, and I'm going right back into this broadside. There's about 3 mile stretch here between this corner that I'm about to hit and town where you're broadside again. Is this enough of a sign? You think I'm taking the wind seriously enough? Those of you that follow along. Somebody better comment about this, by the way. Finally wearing a seatbelt. My favorite thing of my life. Everyone, hey bud. Forget everything else. Seatbelt. You know who you are. I've got stories. I've got my own reasons I don't wear a seatbelt in the truck, unless I am, of course, I'm rolling into the scales, into the towns, windstorms, etc. But maybe I'll share them someday. But that's not for this video. It is just pounding from over there. Just pounding. And my problem is I keep running into enough traffic that I'm just not getting over this line like I want to. Either someone coming up from behind, somebody coming at me. This doesn't feel quite as extreme as that last valley I went through. See, like here I need to get over, but I can't. There's this car passing me. And then he's around me, and now there's a semi coming at me up there. Funny how, of course, the video just doesn't capture any wind at all whatsoever. That might capture some of it. Can you tell out there? Maybe them trees will capture it leaning over. I don't know. Probably not. You're like, there's not even any wind out here. Alright, there's a little sun. Checking everything over. The north station, 50 mile an hour gusts. South station, still at 35. Well, it's up a little bit, but 35. Where I've just come through here, 50. Blowover warnings on all the roads now, of course, but gusts is what we're worried about. Sustained winds are never going to reach that 60, 70 type stuff, really, realistically. It's the gusts that grab you and kind of... But anyway, I know it's a lot of talking about all this, but that's the name of the game today, y'all. It's a very slow slog. I'm doing 45. I just come around the corner. I'm back into the wind now. which for the next 50, 60 miles will be more of a headwind, so not too bad. Then I drop in a canyon. That's pretty sheltered. Up out of the canyon we'll have some more fun. The wind is here, it's all over, but it seems to be holding at that 50 right now. Again, I'm still 3-4 hours from my destination. I'm gonna have to stop and put a little fuel on and stuff here soon, but anyway, that's about all I know. All right, so as soon as I climb up this hill, that's where we got 21 miles? No, it's like 18, 16 miles of just broadside, nothing. So I'm gonna put my phone up and I got a magnet mount here, so I might keep you posted a little bit as we go across, but I think this is gonna be the worst stretch of road that we have to face. If we get through this, I don't think anything will be worse than this until I get loaded. So wish me luck. Now, don't get the idea I'm just driving into this like an idiot. I'm just gonna go and tip over or not tip over. But usually those trailers come up like this and then they pull the truck over. So I put that very rear axle that I have back there down to hopefully help stabilize that back corner of that trailer. I don't know if it will or not, but that's it. That's the last trick. This is a 4-lane road most of the way across. Probably gonna ride most of it in the left lane, so that if it gets dicey, I will dive bomb, of course, assuming nobody's in my way, I will dive bomb the ditch, the oncoming lane's ditch over there, and get tilted into it. But I haven't seen any incident reports of anyone. There was a cow trailer that tipped over like 3 years ago on this stretch of road. Getting really close to being over to the town. It's a stretch just wheat stubble, wheat fields, and I've just lucked out. It's just not totally broadside, though there's still a couple spots that have kind of actually blown spray out the side of my trailer. I get this stress ball in my stomach, where I just tighten my stomach, just clenches. It's not just like your stomach muscles, it's like your whole everything. And I got it when we started the football season, like for the first 3 weeks of football. I couldn't think about anything else, I was just stressed, hoping everything would work out right. We're trying to learn and figure out what we're doing, and it caused so much stress in my insides were just like, and I'm trying to avoid that right now. I'm starting to feel it again from today. It's such an uncomfortable thing. Just trying to relax, but then you get a gust and you're like, can't relax. Okay, we got a 1 mile pure broadside coming up here. You know it's broadside when you see the tumbleweed just go straight in front of you. Again, too much traffic to get over. I'm just stuck in my lane. I think it's starting to ease up. I'm really broadside, but it doesn't feel as bad as it did back on the last stretch. I'll tell you, I would not be doing this without all that water in my belly. Not a chance in the world. Not a chance. Even with that weight, it's been like, kind of getting on the outskirts of Great Falls. Although that truck that tipped over just on the 4-lane, half a mile from town or less. I mean, it was just coming into town and tipped over. I'm gonna let all these cars by. I've been driving in the left lane on these 4 lanes, and actually hugging into the turning lane. So there's 2 lanes this way, 2 lanes this way with the turning lane in between. And I've been halfway into the turning lane because it seems to tilt me just a touch. But I got so much traffic behind me now, I better let it. It goes from 4 lane down to 2 lane for a while, then back to 4 lane. And I wish these other trucks, I'm going 45, 50. They just don't realize, like, there's massive strength in numbers. One will come, just go by you. You're like, bud, just, if we, if we would work together. Like, here's one right now, flatbed just burning by. Boy, now that I'm coming across, the first stoplight of town is a half mile in front of me here. Coming around this last bit, I can see how that guy laid over a couple years ago. It kind of banks like this, and you come in and that wind. I'm not going to show you, but all this just dirt, dust blowing up out of the fields over there. I can see how you come around that corner, come off that banking, and then just wham, send you over. Just like that, you can just feel it. Town just blocks the wind all of a sudden. Oh! Ugh. All right, y'all. We made her through. We're headed north. We've got turned north now. Still quite a broadside hitting us going north up to the border here. We're heading straight up towards Canada. The north station's down to, I think it's at 35. Yeah, 36 was the gust. The south station was down to 25. It's definitely more than that here still. I just had a Canadian cattle trailer empty. No water in his belly, no nothing. Pulling a quad. Just blew my doors off. And so I'm kind of using him as like my... What's that in the mine where they would take a little bird down into the mine? And if the bird would die, they would know they're getting into some dangerous zones. I feel like he's kind of like my little parakeet or whatever out there. I forget what kind of bird they use, but it's just like, I can see him up there. I'm like, well, old buddy's still upright. I'm quite a bit heavier than him, so we should be okay. Well, y'all, I think it's about time that we let you fly. About time to let you fly. I tell you what. I think we're home free. It's down to 35, and that feels about right. I mean, you can see the grass still laying over and whatnot, but I'm 1 hour away from where I'm loading. I'm running a little behind. Yeah, I'm running 30 minutes late, but considering everything, all the extra things we've had to do to take care of this load, or to get up to this load rather, I feel pretty good about it, right? The catch is that I've got to do an all-nighter now. After all this stress getting up here, I've got to do an all-nighter and push it down to Hiram, Utah, to the plant down there, and unload in the morning. So that's about, what is it from up here? It's 600 miles. So nothing like a run to Kansas or anything like that, but plenty of hills and vales and mountains and things to drive through, and who knows what kind of snow we're going to find in Idaho, as per the usual. So yeah, we'll get them on and get them going. And if there's anything of note to share with you now that I've filmed this episode, I'll be sure to throw it in as any little bonus. If not, see you guys on the next one.